Hi, I'm the PC Expert Amateur, and let's take a look at the famous EKWB Furious Vardar Evo 120 BB. No, I don't think BB has to do with the bearings, although it is a ball bearing fan. I, what I mean is, I think the BB is about the ball bearing fan blade, the ball bearings, but not about the balls. I don't know. I'm just guessing. All right. So this is actually a pretty powerful fan. In fact, this fan is suitable to be used on a case, on a heatsink, or on a radiator because it has a pretty strong static pressure of 5.81. On the flip side, it's also darned expensive and discontinued. So yeah, if you can find it and you don't mind paying it's probably still $43 now. But if you don't mind that price tag and you can actually find it, then more power to you. Um, One of the interesting things about it is they want people to remember that this fan can cut your fingers, so they have a red cable to remind you that when it's plugged in, it's potentially hazardous to your fingers. Don't put your tongue against it either, or nose, or anything else, please. So it's got a PWM connector and sleeved cable that's red. And this is not the only one that they use the red cable for. I've got at least one more. That's next, actually, the Furious Meltemy, which is also discontinued and I think is actually, hold on, I'm pretty sure it's more powerful. Yes. Yes, it is more powerful. So you're going to have to wait for that one next. That one makes this one look not quite so amazing. And that one, I was using that one. I was using the Meltemy in the summertime to help keep me cool because, and then when I would walk away, my son would take it and turn it toward him. So we were fighting over it a little bit, just a little bit, but that's okay. So EK is pretty famous, especially for water cooling. They do tend to be overpriced, however, at least here in the U.S. I don't know about their prices in the European Union where they are based, but and they're in Slovenia, in the European Union. For here, yeah, it's pretty darn expensive, and I can't believe I actually spent $43 on this fan. I think I kind of went temporarily insane because I don't usually spend that much on fans because I don't really have that much, and now I don't have any extra money to spend on buying fans. But I don't know, a moment of insanity. But let's go ahead and I just noticed, for $43, you think that they would have bothered to remove any excess plastic? But I'm looking at it and there's like this little wiggly thing sticking off of one of the blades, and some of the other blades didn't have all the excess material shaved off of them. And they didn't even, I don't know, they didn't even provide whole cushions or corner cushions or anything extra. You would think for $43 freaking dollars that this would be loaded. I mean, this is more expensive than most Noctuas, and you don't hear people complaining about EK being overpriced, whereas people are always complaining about Noctua. Noctua is so expensive. But yeah. Anyways, now that I have ranted for a minute, there, I got that one piece off. It was bothering me. The blade tips actually are blunted a bit, which is, I guess, good. And let's find out what it sounds like, because I think that will be interesting. I've got it to the minimum speed right there. Oops, that was my finger. Already noisy. And it's going to get louder. Oh, by the way, this is not your standard 25 One of the nice things I can say about this fan is that it doesn't have any harmonic resonances. At least I didn't hear any as I was revving it up. So now that we can hear, it's too cold for me to have that blowing on me. Let's compare that to the Noctua. If you can even hear the Noctua, yeah. I can hear the Noctua's high pitch. And there we go. Yeah, it's definitely louder than the Noctua. Now, that's interesting. This actually has a relatively good bearing, I think. Let's try that out. Let's do a little experiment here, shall we? I am going to attempt to turn them both off at the same time, but I can only use one hand. Oh, I know what I'll do. Yeah. Freezing fingers. I know what I'll do. I'm going to move it so that they're right next to each other on my fan controller, and that way I can basically do them both at the same time. Oh, freak. I do not like this coldness. All right, so they're both revved up to maximum. So now I can turn them off and see which one stops for first. Okay, they're both off. A contest to see which one has the better bearing, and I think I see which one has the better bearing, but it's going to be holy Moses. Oh my gosh. Now, granted that this is going up to 3,000, this is only going up to 2,000 RPMs. So to be fair, I would really need to run this at 2,000 RPMs and see if it still takes as long as the Noctua. But the fact that it took as long as the Noctua to stop is pretty impressive. So hold on a second. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a challenge here because I have managed to connect the EK to my Zalman fan controller, which is pretty good, except for I can't easily slow it down to no RPMs like I can with my Noctua. So I'm going to have to do this a different way. I've got both of them running at approximately the same RPMs. I know the maximum RPMs of the Noctua is around 2170, 2180. I've got the EK is running at 2160. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug them both if I can at the same time, which is a little bit risky, but there we go. Ooh, so close. So close. Within just 2 or 3 seconds of the Noctua, I have actually found a fan company that has a bearing that is on par with the Noctua's bearing. I did not expect it to be EK. Absolutely not. But yeah, so congratulations, EK. You are a true contender. Oh boy, that's really interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm glad I did that because I've been wondering, is there a fan that can compete? And now there is, even though it's really expensive. I mean, for an extra 1,000 RPMs and what was it? 3 more millimeters of water. More. Where is it? More than 3.5 millimeters more of water for the static pressure. You can pay about $12 more. So I guess we look at the prices versus performance. That's, comparing them against each other, ignoring other brands and prices. That seems to be kind of reasonable, but overall, fans do not cost that much to make. So $43 for a fan, $31 for a fan is still pretty overpriced, because we're talking about mass scale production. So it's not like these fans are handmade or small batch or anything like that. They are mass produced, and the cost of all the plastic that you see on these fans is, pennies at most. Some of these bearings are obviously going to be more valuable than others, but still, we are not talking about that much. And that is how companies like these companies become famous, whereas companies like Delta and Sunon and Nidec and stuff like that tend to remain in the background, even though they often have fans that are even better. So, yeah. All right. I am digressing. Before we get to the data, would you please like, subscribe, and share? Help me build this channel so that I can do more for all the consumers. Okay, so the EK Furious Vardar Evo BB 120 or 120 VB, I forget which one it is. It's black on black and with a red cable. And again, $43, CE and ROHS certifications, made in China, 120 by 25 dimensions. Mean time before failure is 50,000 hours versus the Noctua's minimum of 150,000 hours. So that's not impressive. The bearing is, though. 2-year warranty versus the Noctua's 6. 180 versus 200 grams. 7 versus 9 blades. Standard mounting hole distance. 750 to 3,000 RPMs versus the 450 to 2,000 RPMs of the Noctua NF 812 by 25. A 10% variance for both, and this one goes down to 0 RPMs. Honestly, all fans go to 0 RPMs once you drop below the voltage range for that fan. I think, though, that 0 RPM is to indicate that they actually have protections in place to prevent accidental damage to your fan due to undervolting or whatever. I'm not really sure. If anybody who is an electrician can chime in on that, that would be super helpful. And then we carry on. 107 CFMs of airflow, which makes it stronger than the Noctua at 102.1. And that's 181 cubic meters per hour for those of you on metric, which I wish America was on metric. And then we have the 5.81 millimeters of water for the static pressure, which is putting this one way up high versus the 2.34 of the Noctua. So almost 3.5 stronger. The maximum decibels is 42, although I think at 2,000 RPMs is pretty close to the Noctua. Then the fan's cable is 30 centimeters long, no daisy chaining. It's got a sleeve, PWM connector, double ball bearings, 12 volts, 5.64 watts, 0.47 amps. So yeah, you can only connect 2 of these to a header. Oh, you know what? I forgot to look. I know I marked it early previously that there's no indicators of direction and flow, but I kind of felt like I might have possibly missed that. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it, because some companies, they put the indicators in weird places. And the only thing I'm seeing is the EK symbol on two opposite sides, which doesn't coincide with anything. So yeah, no indicator of flow or rotation. And this is a clockwise spinning fan. It's got 4 screws. Woohoo! 4 screws. You're screwed. And that's really all there is to it. There's, again, EK, I really think that this stinginess of not providing anything extra is, it's stinginess. Greed, maybe? I'm not sure. But, yeah, so that's all there is.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Please like, subscribe, and share.